wishing all the viewers who are listening onto this very interesting discussion today, this morning, a very happy, healthy, and progressive 2021. My name is Mahinda Vakaria, and I'm the co-founder of Pathfinders Holidays, a company based out of Ahmedabad, specializing in curating unique holiday experiences around the world and within India. Personally, I've been part of the hotel and travel industry for more than 30 years now, having graduated from Anna University in Tamil Nadu, and then from the prestigious Hotel Management Institute in Mumbai as well. I have traveled to almost about 50 and plus countries and counting as well, and it's just been a great experience being in part of this industry. We've also had the last opportunity we had was to be connected with the iconic Rajshriv Films Prem Ratan Dhanpayo as a logistics partner. And we've also had some experiences of being part of the film tourism that we are all connected and going to be talking about. My personal interests and hobbies are traveling, reading, outdoor sports and hiking, which is one of my passion that I enjoy. I've climbed Mount Kilimanjaro as well, the highest mountain of Africa. We have gathered to discuss on a very interesting topic and which is becoming a very important vertical of tourism, and that is film tourism. It's a vast topic. Tourism in itself is a very glamorous subject, and film tourism adds the icing on the cake. As we know, Indians cannot be kept away from films and Bollywood, and it plays such a very important role in our lives. Everything, whether it's a happy occasion or a sad occasion, anything, there is a film connected where you can go back and recollect your memories of life. To discuss on this, and the topic today is what filmmakers want. It's a very interesting topic and question, and it's got huge chance of explorations. To discuss on this, we have a very interesting panel of top eminent personalities connected with film tourism. And we have a balanced one, two from the film production side of it, who will give their perspective of what they look out. And to counter that, we have two equally great experts from the travel segment point of it, who have been involved in this, who have done, I don't even know how many films they've been involved in, creating situations for the filmmakers to make their life very comfortable. So it's a very nice, even balanced team of panelists that we have. I'll quickly name the panelists that we have, and then when I call them for the opening remark, we'll have their introduction. On the panel, we have, in a random order, Mr. Natarajan Ramji, Dr. Amit Vanchu, Mr. Abhijit Patil, and Mr. Jairam. Four very prominent personalities who are there, who will lead us and explain to us the nuances of film tourism is all about. As I said, Indian film industry plays a very important role, not only in entertaining the public of India and showcasing very exciting, exotic locations and destinations around the world and within India by shooting there. I'm sure, like we have so many incidents, how films play an important role in tourism. We do get clients walk into the office and they say, "Oh, I saw this Hindi film. The hero was singing a song here, or this location looks stunning in terms of natural beauty or whatever. We want to go there." They don't know what destination it is. They don't know what place it is, but they say, "We want to go there." Now, you can imagine what kind of an influence films can create on the minds of a traveler, and how tourism can leverage from this wonderful opportunity. And this is how not only India, but the world has now woken up and recognized and started getting involved with the Bollywood film industry, which is incidentally the largest film producing community in the world. It's bigger than what Hollywood is also. And they are going gung-ho, trying to attract the Indian filmmakers to their destination, to their country, to come and do a shooting there. And in the bargain, they get an opportunity to promote their destination. But it's not as simple and as easy as we know. It's not that you decide, one morning I want to go to Switzerland and do a shoot. I get on the plane, go there and start shooting. No, it's not that. There are so many factors that one has to consider. There's so many challenges that one has to overcome before you can actually think of doing a shoot, whether it's within India or whether it's outside of India. So in this context is what this whole discussion and panel is all about. So let us hear from our expert panelists of what filmmakers want or expect to decide on a location to shoot, whether it is in India or in a foreign country, and what are the challenges faced by them, and how do they overcome that. To start with, I would like to invite Mr. Jairam, and as I said, it is going to be in a random order. I'm going to be calling each one alternatively. I'd like to start with Mr. Jairam to give his opening remarks. Mr. Jairam started his film career as an assistant director in the year 2000. And Mr. Jairam has grown up in the film industry, working as associate director, co-director, documentary filmmaker, music album producer, etc., etc. From 2015, Mr. Jairam has got into a line producer's role in the industry and produced many successful movies in Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Malayalam film industry. These include iconic films like Dilwale, the recent few years back, Shah Rukh Khan's hit, Shivai, Rubik's Cube, Mersai, Vivekam, Dev, etc. Jairam is currently the creative head of Ribada Films and based out of Mumbai. Mr. Jairam, let's hear your opening remarks. You've been involved in the planning side of a shoot, whether it's within India. As a filmmaker, what are you expecting? What are your challenges, and how do you try to overcome that? Please.
Yeah. Hi, nice for having me here. And as Mr. Telling, my name is Jairam, K.S. Jairam. I was actually, I started my career as a filmmaker. So I am a filmmaker, but parallelly, I'm also involved in the production of various films. So I work as an executive producer, as a creative producer, and also as a line producer per project to project. So right now I am here as the creative head of Ribada Films. So Ribada Films is one of the, our mainstay is we are a film logistic company based out of Mumbai. We have an office in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai also. So our main aim is to get Indian films abroad, satisfying the director's vision and also taking care of the pocket of the producer. So this is the combination of things what we are. But post-COVID, look, after all the industries has been affected. Not only a lot of industries have been affected. The main affected, I think, people are the travel people and also the people. And especially people who are like us, like film logistics company. Because for the last 1 year, we have not done any business, but we are expecting to open shop soon. Because Europe and all the major markets where we go are locked down now. But the main challenge is to get the filmmakers back to action into our location with the cost, and also cost is also going to be a big factor, because now the main challenge is the theaters have not been, the income from the theaters with the main stay of the producer not come now, because it's slowly coming. The theaters, there are no people in the theaters. So now the film, all the films and all the features have gone into the OTT section. So the income of the producers is affected. Our main challenge is now to get these filmmakers back to a location in their budget. So the budget have now gone little tossed, and so it has gone like a little here and there. So we have to be a little more flexible and to give them solutions, in this kind of a post-pandemic situations. So what are the solutions is we have to now identify places where we can get incentives. So that is going to be our main. If we are going to survive in this market, now we have to give them solutions where to shoot their content in the most creative way, but at the same time within the budget restrictions. So now we are developing a lot of destinations or a lot of countries where there is a big incentive, big chunk of incentive. I think all the film boards of a lot of countries have opened up to this situation. Even if you can see that even in states of in India also, like Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, and I think Gujarat has started giving a lot of incentives to filmmakers. So like that, we are also encouraging our countries, a lot of other countries to come up on this and give a lot of incentives and get the Indian films, attract the Indian films now. So that is our target. So we have a lot of projects lined up. Once the pandemic settles down and the flight services and the Europe opens up, I think we have like almost 10 to 12 films lined up for UK, for other parts of Europe, and also interesting Asian countries also. So that's a challenge. The challenge is to get the filmmakers and producers back to the locations with their budget, not with our budget. So with their budget in mind. So that is going to be a big challenge. So for that, we have to see what are the things we have to do. So incentive is one thing, and other thing is how to minimize the cost, how to save money for the producers, how to plan better, how to plan economically with getting any kind of tie-up with the flight services, with the flight companies, and so those kind of things we are exploring now. So I hope by end of June or by April we should be able to start again.
Very interesting. Very interesting, Mr. Jairam. I understand all of us have been impacted by this pandemic that has come and hit us our lives in a manner which we never expected it. Yeah. And it just turned our lifestyle upside down for everybody, irrespective of which industry we are in. But I'm sure all of us have realized also the importance of what wrong we've been doing all these years and what right we should do now, and how we should start reliving our lives. But coming to your point of, challenge of, it's interesting to note that even the filmmakers are looking at budgets because, generally films are associated with big budget, not only money, but also incomes, in terms of
big budgets
and income both.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Because the big budgets mainly goes to the stars, not for not for the expenses. See, the budget, in India, it's a funny thing because in Hollywood, out of their budget, 15% of their budget will go to the stars. But in India, it's the reverse. 75%.
Wow.
75% of your budget goes to the stars. Only 25% is left over to do all the other things. So in India, it's a difficult situation. So even though the budget may be 200 crores or 250 crores.
I understand.
But what you are going to get in that is what is the question here.
So to solve your problem, and I would like to invite now Mr. Natarajan Ramji, as my second panelist to come and give his remark and counter to assist you with your challenge of, trying to find a location which is not only going to help you maintain the cost for your production unit, but also at the same time try and get you some incentives, whatever possible, whether it's in terms of airline, the hotel, the government there, the destination there, whatever. He himself can be a star. He could take 85% of the budget of the film. He need not be a logistic, expert. But Mr. Natarajan Ramji, he is got a very, very checkered profile and a great. He's known in the film world as a location guru. Now, that's a very unique term that can be utilized, and it's a very, very niche a thing called a location guru, wherein he identifies a location and takes a production unit there, and he sets up the whole thing, which is a great way. It's something like a trailblazer or an explorer of the past, where you go identify a new location and then the whole world starts going there. Mr. Natarajan has ventured into the travel industry after testing his luck in acting as an actor. Wow. In the South Indian movies. See, I told you he could be a star himself and take 85%. He set up his company, Travel Masters India, a travel company that specialized in film tourism in 1991 and never looked back. He has, to his credit, over 1,600 films. That's a huge number. These include over 300 films and locations in Switzerland. Are you a citizen of Switzerland, Mr. Natarajan? A widely traveled location expert, Ramji has worked behind many black blockbusters, including Bahubali. He has introduced novel destinations to the film industry like Bulgaria, Iceland, Bolivia, the Salt Flat Pans, and is based out of Chennai. Mr. Natarajan, we heard what Mr. Jairam said, that after the pandemic, the film producers are looking at locations which are going to help them with the budget because there is cost cutting in the film industry as well. Unlike other industries, we didn't expect it to happen here, but it's happening. So how are you, with your expertise and with your profound knowledge of this industry, how are you going to, or how do you tackle such challenges when a client comes to you asking for something like this?
Mahendra, thank you for having me as one of the panelists today. I'd like to trace back to the genesis of film tourism way back in 1980. That's around the time it started evolving, and I was there in that period, and that was when Yash Chopra ji, Yash ji, as we fondly remember him as, and he started off with these movies like Silsila and Lamhe. And in those days, it used to be just one song or two songs. And people used to get so excited about the tulips field in Silsila in Netherlands, and the green meadows and the beautiful mountains of Switzerland in Lamhe. And so happened simultaneously at that time I started getting into film tourism as a concept. It was not called film tourism then. It was, we used to probably make one movie or two movies in a year. Okay. But then it has evolved over a period of time. When first I went and approached many of the tourism departments talking about film tourism, they didn't even have a clue. For example, okay, so they should just laugh me off. They said, "What is this? What can film do to us?" and things like that. But slowly, in the 90s, it simply exploded when India opened up under P.B. Narasimha Rao, and overnight there was an explosion of movies who wanted, because there was a problem in Kashmir because of the terrorism, and people had already done many of these Uti and Kodaikanal and Shimla. They were yearning for a more. It's like a dil mange more. People wanted more, and the producers wanted to show different. Everybody in every single movie, they wanted to be different from the others. So we started off with Switzerland, and in those days, and we used to probably have at least 5 to 6 movies per month, and it used to be only song, and song. Okay, then when this closed, they were looking for locations in November, December, and January. They didn't have a location, so I took my bags and went to New Zealand. And then New Zealand, because of the reverse climate of the southern hemisphere, and this opened up, and then it became New Zealand, then Switzerland, New Zealand, Switzerland. This combination, going up and down, because in the summer of New Zealand, we'll be filming, and because it'll be winter in Switzerland. Then the other way around, then we started getting other shoulder seasons like autumn, because autumn looks very good on screen because the color change. Normally, this is a lean season for many people, but for films, it became a big boom because on the screen, the red, orange, and yellow colors were, they're like shimmering. So then we started evolving into, started getting more adventurous because the movie makers wanted more and more and more. And then what so happened that we started looking for more and more location. Then Australia came in. Then we started going to other places like Jordan, to Egypt, so this kept on going. But then the needs of the movie makers also kept changing. They wanted to, look for more. Action came into being. So they wanted to shoot action. They wanted to shoot mass sequences. So then again, we started looking to Eastern Europe for lower cost. Post-pandemic, now we have to change our strategy completely. And now it's more than what the producers and directors are looking for. It is for us to, inculcate or, educate them about what is in offer. So more than, them looking for, we are looking to, inculcate into them that the cost, the rebate systems, the technology today, it's a combination of a location of a country, along with the location, along with the rebate system, and the technology, what it can offer. Wherein which now there is a, green chroma placed in the location, and then there is real time which has come in now. So it's a combination of so many things that has to go into play. So post-pandemic, the game has changed totally. It is not going to be what we are doing in 80s and 90s and 2000. So it will be a complete new game changer, and I feel we are ready for that. Because today, money saved is going to be money earned,
Very true.
because your entire revenue system has completely changed. Now the theater revenue has gone. Now they have to find OTT revenue, and this pandemic has changed the way of life for movie makers and for everybody associated with film tourism. Thank you.
Great. So, what I understand, Mr. Natarajan, and very rightly said that, I believe this could be a very interesting challenge coming up to you and to Mr. Abhijit Patil, who are experts in helping the film production units to scout locations and to help them with maintaining the cost. Uh, because the major revenue source for the films, which is releasing films in the theaters, is reduced now. It's not going to happen for some time. So of course there is going to be a cost cut in the production as well, and there your challenges will increase because you will have to help them use all your expertise to understand how best you could help them with still creating a situation of a location shoot which is as exotic as what it can look like on the screen, celluloid screen, but at the same time helping them keep the cost. Very interesting. I will now like to move on to my next panelist, and that I would like to straight away head into the state of Jammu and Kashmir and invite Dr. Amit Vanchu for his remark. Dr. Amit, incidentally, this is my, I wanted to check with you, being a medical practitioner, you are a medical doctor. How did you and what made you come into film production? That is completely a huge extreme. I'll touch upon that a bit later. But Dr. Amit started his line production career in 2005 for a documentary film. Being born and brought up in Kashmir, Dr. Amit has been actively engaged in promoting tourism with special focus on film tourism, art, culture, heritage of J&K. He utilized his expertise of line production, arts, and events as a medium for sowing seeds of positivity in Jammu and Kashmir. Dr. Amit is the CEO of Space Communications and runs a documentary film company, The Elements, with his partner Rajesh Jalal. He has also worked with eminent directors like Mr. Imtiaz Ali and film projects like Haider, and he's based in Jammu. Dr. Amit, this is, as I said, very interesting. You are trained as a medical doctor. What prompted you to leave that field and come into film production, number one? You could touch upon that. And then you are sitting in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and all of us know it's one of the most beautiful locations that one could dream for in a film shoot anywhere in the world, leave alone in our country. But the state has its own massive challenges, not only from a day-to-day living point of view, which is now coming back to normal, and a lot of things are changing and improving for good now. But how did you, in the early days when the challenges would have been multifold, what kind of challenges you were facing, and as a filmmaker, what you expected that friends like Mr. Abhijit Patil and Mr. Natarajan, if they are going to be taking care of the logistics, how they would help and set it up in the state of Jammu and Kashmir? Please, Dr. Amit.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'm based in Srinagar in Kashmir and not in
Okay,
Jammu.
sorry, my apologies.
So, yeah, that's okay. And a very good morning to all of you from freezing -9 temperature tonight we had, and it's all right now very beautiful outside, but it's very cold. Otherwise, I would have loved to show you all out. Coming to film tourism, yes, I am a medical doctor, and I want to share one very personal experience with all of you. And my posting was in cancer ward because I did my residency in radiation oncology, and there you get all kinds of patients, right from 8-year-old till elders up to 80. And you know that the patients are emotionally very down. And then on Saturdays, I started filming. Every Saturday we had Saturday screening of films with the patients, and I would always be there because Saturdays used to be my night duty as well. And let me tell you honestly, I have seen so much of improvement in those patients after they would see those movies and they would connect, because in India, I think film is something which connects you all from Kashmir to Chennai. Like whatever kind of film, even in Kashmir, I will tell you, people love South Indian movies as well, which are dubbed, and that is one of the most watched content in Jammu and Kashmir.
Wow.
So I feel that filming is something which basically is not just a film. It is your life. It connects with our emotions. It connects with our dreams. And when I did my medicine, I wanted to do something because we had seen a lot of turbulence here, and our youth had got affected through so much of violence and things. So I wanted to get something wherein they are engaged. So sometimes these boys who were in stone pelting and other things, we slowly started getting them into all these artworks and stage settings and the kind of work that line production, because line production is just not line production. You can give so much of opportunity to all the youngsters in different fields, whether it is in the form of props, in the form of artists, in the form of any other stuff that is required at the location. So that's how it started with the documentary film. And second was when Imtiaz came here to Kashmir. And one of the things that we had in discussion was that I never wanted to see in a Bollywood movie that Kashmir should be seen only through the prism of violence. And one of the promises that when we were discussing, we requested Imtiaz was that he should not show in Rockstar anywhere this gun and the bunkers and the things like that. And we're thankful to him that he stood by his promise. And when Rockstar started, initially it was very new thing for even us to have, because Bollywood returned in a series after a long time to Kashmir. But definitely when we started have, because people in Jammu Kashmir are very hospitable, and let me tell you honestly, in J&K, money does not work that much as your PR works. Say in the night, if I call someone and tell him that I'll pay you 2 lakhs, please come at the 2 a.m. in the night and do my work, he may not come. But I just have to say in Hindi or in Kashmiri, like, you are like my brother. So I have this emergency. Can you come at 2? And you will get the person.
Oh,
And
interesting.
that's how I think Rockstar really worked. And you all know, even I remember Mr. A.R. Rahman, Mr. Imtiaz, and all the main crew coming, and this Sada Haq song and others, when we had the first premiere in Kashmir in a very nice place near Nishat, and how the sequences were made and how the things came up, and then going to Gulmarg and shooting all those beautiful places again and making everything live. So my biggest happiness in that was that you had all these youngsters who wholeheartedly wanted to support this project in spite of giving them little money. I won't say that we paid a lot of money because budgets were a bit restricted that time for some films. As Mr. Sir rightly said, that 25% is for all the other things and 75% goes to stars. But even in that budget, lots and lots of support, because a film can be a success at a particular location only when you have local support. Without local support, you cannot do much at any destination wherever you're shooting. I'm sure our people who are senior and have a lot of experience than me will agree with that. And as far as the challenges come, I think that, see, everywhere you have challenges, but right in post COVID, I think most of the filmmakers who are even coming these days for Reiki and for shoots, they were here in December, some are coming in Jan Feb. I think because of this travel, there are lots of openings that have opened in Jammu and Kashmir and even Ladakh, because these are the locations which are right now available. The air travel is available. People who have already had dates and things like that, they are exploring. And I think in COVID times, Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh is picking up more in terms of line production.
Super. That sounds very interesting, and that brings me straight away to my fourth panelist, Mr. Abhijit Patil. I've known him for a few years now. He's also one of from our industry of travel, but who's now very subtle manner shifted into film tourism as part of his niche vertical and creating some very strong vibrations in that field. Mr. Abhijit Patil is widely traveled as a travel industry specialist. His travel company is named Raja Rani Travels in Mumbai, has a dedicated vertical now called Globe Hoppers, which is promoting niche tourism, including film tourism, wedding tourism, etc. Raja Rani Travels has been pioneers in promoting Kashmir as a tourist destination and taken many film production units to Kashmir over the decades. His company is currently engaged in a 2-year project to create an ecosystem for film tourism with the J&K administration, and he is based out of Mumbai. Mr. Patil, we heard Dr. Amit and others mentioning, and all of us know that in India, when it comes to a location for film, and we've seen over the years, Kashmir has unparalleled beauty, which has been showcased on the celluloid. I'm not saying we have other states which are equally more beautiful, but they've still not come into the film screens. You are now, as it mentioned, that connected with J&K to a large extent in doing a project for the administration there for film shoots. What prompted you to decide on J&K as a state to do this project, considering the fact that there are already challenges? And film shoot is something like our travel industry. Emergencies can come from any side at any time, and we have to be on the ground there to manage it, or have a team which is competent to take care of this. So in such situation of challenges and adversity that is existing and existed in the past, why did you decide to come into JNK? How did you want to do something in JNK? And I like what Dr. Ahmed mentioned, and the perception or his shifting from the medical field to film was, and you're right, Ms. Dr. Ahmed. Films connect with each and every Indian, I will say, in some manner. And I said that, whether it's a happy occasion or a sad occasion, films do help you come out of that situation very, very positively. So, Mr. Abhijit, coming back, why JNK, and what has your experience been in managing challenges which come on your table from a film producer's end? Please.
So namaste, everybody. And even as we are speaking, I'm very much in Jammu. Yesterday, I had a very detailed discussion with the Honorable Lieutenant Governor and the entire top bureaucracy. Today, we are having some follow-up meetings. But just to dovetail into the past, so we are primarily a 68-year-old travel company. And in the good old days, Jaise Ramji said that film tourism was never a nomenclature. ये लोग ट्रैवल संभालते हैं, ये equipment लाएंगे, that used to be how it was, and payments used to be very, very, very crazy. So somewhere down the line we stopped it because of bad payments. But now we see a lot of young blood in the industry, a lot of professionalism, and many cases, and Ramji and Mr. Jairam will subscribe to what I'm saying. In many cases, while the cinematographic brilliance is paramount, the CFO also decides whether it is cost effective, and they do push line producers hunt of location suitability as also the cost benefit for the film to shoot. Having said that, yes, we have vertical globe hoppers, which is specializing in film, wedding, wellness, and now cruise tourism. And we just got India's most preferred travel brands in that vertical. So 2 years ago, our tourism minister, Sri Alphonse, was discussing with me as to why Indian films are going so much abroad to shoot. I should have told them blame Mr. Ramji and Mr. Jairam, but no, hats off to them. They've done phenomenal amount of work. But I told them that there is a very, very scientific approach, the rebate policy, everything in place, but the ease of business is the most important. And he mandated us to bring out a cine tourism report on India. And after that, we sat at length discussing with the Jammu Kashmir government, because from childhood we have been going to Kashmir. And yes, Yashji, everybody, in fact, Yashji was even tongue in cheek blamed by the Kashmir people कि आप तो कश्मीर के दोस्त थे, अभी स्विट्जरलैंड के नुमाइंदे बन गए. So having said that, we are looking at bird's eye perspective at locations, and we kind of sat with the authorities here and tried to impress upon them three parameters. One is that while the scenic beauty and the logistic parameters in Kashmir are far superior to any other hill station in India. It's more like a plateau. Your number of flights coming into Srinagar, the connectivity between Srinagar to Gulmarg to Pahalgam and other regions, everything taken into account. But it has certain drawbacks. So if we keep the negative feelings of terrorism, etc., aside, but even then, you need to create correct ecosystems. You need to have manpower on the ground which is able to support big films to come in. You need equipment which does not have to be lugged all the way from Chandigarh. You need to understand who are the players in the industry. Times have changed. There is the OTT platform now. There is television. Even a small ad, a film as popular as Yashraj or Dharma, I have to pay and choose to go and see it. But during IPL, a simple ad is thrown at me probably 5,000 times in between every over. Why can't we get a Katrina Kaif to have sipping an appy at Dal Lake? You know, you must understand each vertical, understand that a small budget put into a promo video made by the tourism ministry vis-a-vis half that budget given to a music video by, say, T Series or Balaji, and you will have 65,000 hits for your promo video, but you'll have 65 lakh hits for the other video, the professional video. So, so these are all aspects which a tourism ministry or the authorities have to start understanding. And that's where we are right now, poised at creating a 3-year roadmap for the state of Jammu Kashmir, where ease of business, correct environment, and a lot of help to back-end support in terms of equipments, in terms of training, manpower. So we are bringing in a big delegation towards the end of the month, which is headed by the Producers Guild of India. And we are also, apart from the top production houses, we are bringing in people who will create the ecosystem. So one thing, as Mr. Jairam, I must share 2 points of his. One is that Indian tourism boards are now realizing that they have somewhere missed the bus, and a lot of them have taken pole position. Uttarakhand, MP, Goa, and Gujarat are there. UP had started a policy well in advance, but these three, though they came in later, are really now very professionally managed for creating correct ecosystems for the film guys and have dedicated cells for it. The other important part is that I think Jairamji, Ramesh, Ramji, we all should actually form a group and challenge this star culture, because yes, at the end of the day, 70%, 75% going to the stars is not grudged. But what is it that we are trying to push? And Mr. Ramji, Mr. Jairam are stalwarts, but there are many others who leave behind in their wake a load of bills unpaid, etc., and that creates a bad name. And because you are being squashed for budgets, so why can't 5% be put more into the, so we should also start inculcating this concept that while the professionalism is coming in, line production is not a frivolous job. We are putting a lot of heart and effort into creating the correct this thing. Until the shoot is over, every night people are being disturbed till 2 o'clock. After the shoot, we get the pats on the back. Kya maza aaya. In today, in conferences like this, we give exciting reports. Arey, us time itna problem hua, lekin this is how we passed it. But at that time, there is all hell breaking loose. For what? So I am going to create the ecosystem bridge for Kashmir and reach out to Mr. Ramji and Jairam. So by March, we are looking at big films, parallel films. I mean, one film coming in and shooting and the entire machinery being put behind it is understandable. No, there has to be an SOP in place. It cannot be that every time chief minister or lieutenant governor has to intervene and say this is a big budget film, inko cooperation do. No, it has to be an SOP where as films come in, multiple films are shooting, multiple OTT platforms are shooting, and that's what we are creating for Kashmir. Thank you very much.
Super. No, I agree to that, because I know in Gujarat, tourism has set up a different department under Ms. Naik for the film tourism as part of the niche tourism. And, they're looking at one window clearance for any shoot anywhere in Gujarat. And I think that's the proactive way the state department will have to get involved.
In Gujarat, there is Ms. Naik. In Madhya Pradesh, there is Mr. Ram. And in Goa, Mrinal Walke. So these are three people who are any queries come, they are routed to them. That's a huge amount of professionalism these three states are bringing to the table.
Very interesting. I think with the effort put in by you and Mr. Natarajan together collectively and the pressure, state departments will open up to this idea and then make sure that this is the professional way to go about doing this. I'll move on to Mr. Jairam, and I'll continue with my question, Mr. Jairam. Why out of India shoots are more popular than shoots within India? Is there any particular reason? Is there any excitement? Is there any benefit? Or what are the challenges that you see that, makes you decide on a location out of India rather than within India, please?
Yeah, so look, sir, the attraction is not only to go and visit a lot of places abroad. Actually, the main thing why every filmmaker or actors want to go abroad is they are getting privacy. Because in India, for example, for a Shah Rukh Khan, if you imagine a Shah Rukh Khan shooting in Kashmir or any place in India, he will get mobbed. So, but when he goes to a remote place like an Iceland, for example, a place where his name is not so popular, he can enjoy the privacy. He can walk around, he can cycle, he can just those kind of little kind of movements they use during these shoots. That is a main thing to shoot abroad. I think it started with this because it started in 70s. Before 70s, there are no movies who are gone abroad for shoot. I think it started with Raj Kapoor, shooting abroad some song sequences, some major sequences. Then Shami Kapoor started, some films of him will be shooting. So that's how it started. And the second important thing is I think the terrorism in Kashmir affected it in a very big way, because before 80s, before in 70s and in 60s, lot of films have shot in Kashmir. All our snow-capped mountain shoot has happened only in Kashmir or in Shimla. So this happened in 80s. Terrorism came up. Then yes, Chopra doesn't have an alternative to explore other locations. That's how he found out Switzerland, and that's the thing. But now I think, look, leave out the terrorism away, but we cannot control on that. But now to attract the filmmakers into our regional states or in Kashmir again, improve our facilities. We have to improve a lot of things, because when you go to abroad, for example, if I go to Switzerland or I go to New Zealand, once I land in the airport, everything is taken care of. My permission is pakka, all my logistics issues have been solved. I have equipments there. I have a technical crew there. You have everything there. You have to take a minimal crew from India so that you can get whatever your vision, you can shoot it, and without any red tapes, you can come here, take the footage and get it back to India pretty soon. So, but in our states, I think the red tapeism is still there. The permission, there should be a single window permission system still. For example, there are a lot of inboard inquiries to us for a lot of foreign projects. They want to shoot in Kashmir or they want to shoot in a lot of places.
Interesting.
But once you go through these processes, it's a headache. It's a headache. You have to go to Delhi and you have to sit with these various departments. You have to submit your script. You have to, take care of a lot of people. All these issues are still there. So that's why, look, for example, for a popular production like James Bond, they wanted to shoot in India, last film. But the permission was taking time. It was taking like 6 months or more than. Then they shot in Africa. So that's how it is happening. So we love our country. We love to showcase our country. We want to work in our country only. So we are not. We don't want. We are now forced to work abroad and make it to our business. But actually, I want to explore Kashmir. I want to explore Ladakh, and I want to. But only thing is the other logistical issues have to be improved. So once that is taken care, automatically people will come. And even the producers, Indian producers, will be happy shooting in our country only. They will be saving a lot of cost.
Understand.
Yeah, only because of all these issues they are forced to go.
Very interesting. I see the sense of pain when you explain to the challenges of red tapeism that still exists. And I wish Economic Times through this forum will reach out to the states that have majorly focused on film tourism and bring it to their notice the challenges faced by line production units and production houses. And
another thing I want to highlight is we need to have some kind of an incentive to shoot inside India. Even for abroad, even for productions coming from abroad to shoot inside, we need to have a window where, if they invest a minimum amount of money, some kind of an incentive, some kind of a given back, some kind of a scheme should be encouraged. Because a lot of countries, if you see UK, you see Fiji, UK, a lot of European countries are open to this incentive scheme. That's how they are attracting a lot of foreign productions. All the Hollywood productions are going into Europe and UK means because they are getting incentive because of the incentive scheme.
I understand.
And also the logistic help.
So I'm sure Economic Times is making a note of this, and they're going to reach out to the state units and suggest to them to be more positive and proactive in this area, which can make life much more easier and comfortable for everybody. Shifting on to Mr. Natarajan, Mr. Jairam did mention about the reasons why foreign locales are more popular or more convenient. Let me put it, it's more comfortable and convenient to do a shoot there than within India, and eliminating the headaches. How do you, with your expertise, become the bridge in connecting these two challenges, of the requirement from India and at the destination? How do you manage it? So
it's not only I can give you 25 factors why it is more feasible and economical to do the shoot outside India. For example, one is the crowd management. Okay, in India, ours is a very populous country. So at any given point of time, at any shoot, you have to manage over about 50,000 people, bystanders. Okay, which is a huge logistic nightmare to film anywhere in India. Number two, the location outside India are quite pristine because the pollution levels are very low. So you get a better, output on the camera, basically. Okay, and also you can understand in India we are on the equator line, kind of, because the sun is on the top. Whereas in places like Switzerland or New Zealand, any other places, the sun travels behind you or in front of you. So that gives a different tone in filmmaking also. And apart from that, technology. Whereas, for example, if you need to shoot underwater sequences, if you need to shoot with, tracking vehicles and all those things, the equipment. Above that, today, when you make a movie, it is not only one aspect, it is 20 aspects which go into it. For example, it should be the story. See, India makes 3,000 movies. You will find movies for every location, frankly. I mean, everybody will get their share. Everybody's plate will be full. The thing is, the movie maker, frankly, they are creative people. They know only what they're doing. It is for us to educate them on the wholesomeness of to filmware, for example. So the film must be made with a good output, and it should also be economically, feasible for them. Ultimately, the producer must make a profit, the star must make his salary, the technicians, and above all, the output should be successful. So all these combinations put together. For example, from the Northeast, I've been getting the state governments to come in and film in Nagaland and Meghalaya and places like that. But what logistics? Are the roads good enough? How do we travel? For example, we filmed a whole movie in China, where Jairam was also involved with me. We could travel 600 kilometers one way and come back the same way, 1,200 kilometers on the road. Remember, Mr. Jairam, we traveled to Panjim.
Yeah.
One day in the morning, we left at 6 and we are back at 9 in the night.
Yeah, I was the steady for that movie. Yeah.
So you can understand how the whole, it has the transportation. And for example, if we film in Bulgaria, we just need to take 15 people from India. Everything else is there. Only the HODs, head of departments, need to be there. See, earlier we used to have unwieldy crowds of people in the unit, like 300 people, 400 people going on film shoots. Now, post-pandemic, all this is going to change. So it's going to be a combination of smart planning with a good dose of rebates and with visual, with visual delight for the maker. So accordingly, people are writing out scripts today. Okay. So the thing is, it is for people like myself, Jairam, and Abhijit Patil to educate the movie maker on what is there in offer, because frankly they don't know that. So our future plan is to go forward and tell them, okay, you get this plus this, you get this location plus this rebate, and these are the equipments available. This is the manpower which is available, and totally this is the budget. So you can, every movie has got a sale price. Okay. So they start working backwards to arrive at how best they can do it. And so they make a fair profit at the end of it.
Correct.
Nobody wants to make a movie and lose money.
True.
So it's our idea. goal in going forward is we want to create such a system where they come to us asking for what can be done to make the entire thing wholesome. So this would be the plan.
All right. That's very interesting. I mean, of course, so I understand that you all have a very important role to play, and maybe this could be an opportunity where now you could think of creating some kind of a document or a white paper indicating to the state departments in within our country that in spite of the challenges that you mentioned, like, crowd management, it can be a nightmare. I can imagine that. I've seen cricket matches when I'm handling the cricket television coverage here in the stadium. It is chaotic, and with the film stars it's no less, so that could be a challenge. But in spite of all that, I'm sure India has got immense talent. India has got immense manpower, professional manpower, and it can ecosystem could be created where the states can start getting revenue not only from the films that are coming to shoot there, but on a continuous basis, like a royalty, which could be for the promotion and the targeting tourism as a leveraging out of this film shoot over there. Dr. Amit, I'll come to you now. You are sitting in the state of Kashmir, and you heard the two experts talk about challenges and why they want to shift out of India and things like that. And you and Mr. Patil are working very closely with the administration there to create a system where things are in place. And I understand that, like Mr. Jairam said, you land at a destination and you don't have to. Filming is a creative thing, and when you're doing any creative work, your mind has to be at peace. And if your mind is not at peace and going to be fighting battles about logistics and manpower and permissions and challenges, I think it will be a disaster. So, how are you proposing to create a kind of a permanent setup, which can be a one-stop thing where all they need to do is just land at Srinagar airport, and from there on, things are taken care of more smoothly?
Completely, I agree with both of them. There are a few things that I would like to mention here. Incentive is one of the most important aspects, because I feel that when films come to any location and when they promote either through song sequences or through whatever scenes are shot, that also benefits the place. And we have seen in the past also, like many things that are shot anywhere, and then tourists or anyone who comes, he wants to see particular thing, the particular hut, the particular place, right from the films which have been shot here. So definitely we have been talking with the government that incentive should be one of the major things, because that will be a one good attraction for people to come here. Second, as far as the permissions and things are concerned, it is our pleasure to share with all of you here that just last since November 15th, now you get one single window clearance permission in the Department of Tourism itself. And once you have that permission, you don't require any other department's permission or any other interference. So that has been done and that is in place. And we are having two shoots which are presently happening. One is of the T series as well, and they have already started it here. And another one is coming today, arriving here. So that is one aspect. In addition to that, I do agree that people are going out and shooting outside. I personally feel that both should go on. It is a parallel thing, because when our crew and our people are taking films outside India, that's also helping our country in directly or indirectly, because you are getting more exposure and the people enjoy those technologies, and then our own people are getting trained, because even if they're taking crew of 15 or 20 or 30, our people are also with that. And simultaneously, Bollywood is so big that I feel every location and the script is linked. There are so many films which are shot in Kashmir, like say we had Haider was linked with Kashmir, and you had to shoot it in Kashmir only. It was a location specific. Similarly, there are movies which are shot in Gujarat, there are movies which are shot in, because every script at the end of the day, you have Indian audience and they connect with that thing, because that is one of the major markets. But equally, what these guys are doing is phenomenal, because they are adding to our economy. I take it like that. Number third, inline production also. Now you have a lot of youngsters who have come, and it is, I can tell you that it's now much more planned than what it used to be initially, because everyone who is coming into this field wants to give the best service to their particular counterpart who is coming either from Bombay or even from South Indian film industry, or even from Bangalore, so that they get best service here. So we have talked with the government, both JK Tourism as well as the administration headed by Chief Secretary and Lieutenant Governor, that once any crew is coming to this place, as you talked about the crowd management, like I have this experience at least in recent shoots that we had here, right from Jab Tak Hai Jahan to Jawani Diwani to all other films. The crowd management problem in Kashmir was very less. It was not that massive as it used to be initially, because there was a system in plan, and then obviously you had the state machinery for both the police and the people who were basically managing those areas, and the crew had not to come. None of the members from the crew was involved in crowd management. It was done by the administration of its own. So we have put up the points which are basically the major challenges, as sir talked about the logistic. Definitely on the base of equipment, in Kashmir we don't have anything like that. So we have proposed 2 3 things to them as far as the logistic warehouse is concerned, so that the state government will have a huge logistic warehouse wherein you have all the equipments available here, and then also train the youngsters from J&K who can basically later on assist these crews, and this can also generate a job opportunity. And in addition to that, because Kashmir is one place where I think we should have a film school, because this is a place where everywhere you can shoot, every frame you have, so that all the people who come from Bollywood, they and the people like the producers guild and others can manage certificate courses then in association with those film schools and train here, so that you have manpower available which is needed on the ground, and you don't have to get all the way 400 people, 500 people to Kashmir, and then obviously it's expensive and the cost is there, the traveling is there, the logistic is there. So all these points have already been in discussion since last October, then in December as well, and Mr. Abhijit is yesterday also had a discussion, and hopefully by last week of Jan we are having the fam tour of all the leading production houses to Kashmir who will be coming, and there is going to be a session exclusively on this, that what are the things that are required from the state government, what things are to be done, and hopefully 2021 many things will be implemented.
Very interesting, and I think that's the proactive and the positive way to tackle this situation, and still make sure that you get full benefit and advantage of this huge potential of the industry that is there. I'm from the tourism field, and for us, it's always a win-win situation when a film is shot, whether it's in a location in India or out of India, because it drives tourism. Honestly, it drives tourism to that destination, and it's there is no logic. Sometimes we wonder, why do you want to go there, and they say, oh, we saw it in the film and we liked it, so we want to go there. That's the impact and the power that film can have on tourism. I would also like to add here, you mentioned about Kashmir having beautiful locations, no doubts about it, but also keep it in mind, think of something like what Switzerland and New Zealand have done. Switzerland has got a Bollywood trail, or Yash Chopra trail, where it takes you around and pinpoints the locations where popular Bollywood films have been shot, which song was there, which actor was there, and things like that. So it's got a small history connected to it. And, film buffs who can go there, who go there, can enjoy and relive those moments of films, what they've seen. New Zealand, for example, have gone miles ahead. They have the full Hobbiton set, which is set up near Hamilton in the North Island, and which is creating revenue for them day in and day out. That set was created for the Hollywood film, okay? And that they did not dismantle that set, they've retained that set, and now they're making money out of it by promoting it for tourists to come and see that this film was shot here, Avatar was shot here, and and people are going to visit that, and that's another great way of generating revenue for the local ecosystem on the byproduct of film tourism, and promote tourism as well. So all in all, it works very well if all of you could experts put your heads together and drive this forward. We are coming to the end of the session, and before we end this, I would like to have a closing remark. Mr. Ramji, can we have your closing remark, please, and what you expect for the 2021 and going forward?
2021 is going to be a game changer. We are going to see an explosion of filmmaking at every single destination. India makes 3,000 more or more movies, and there's going to be enough for everybody, for Kashmir, for Delhi, for Chandigarh, and world over. Okay. So, but we have, everybody here has to change our way of doing things. What we did in 80 and 90 and 2000, it's completely going to change to 2021. Now, the way of making things is going to be on a wholesome approach to excite the filmmaker, the producer, the star, and the director to give everything what they need at the best possible budget. So to make the project ultimately viable and successful and profitable. So this, looking at each and every script, we should come with go to them with a full solution. It's not going to be a piecemeal solution like before. You just talk about the song, you forget about this. Now we are going to talk about the entire movie, the sequences, the action portion, the CG portion, computer graphics, special effects, then the bling factor. We have. So movies will be made in multiple locations, not in one single location. For example, the talkie will be made in London, the action will be made in Bulgaria, the song can be in Iceland, all in one single movie. So this is.
Can I Mr. Ramji, is it possible that you could influence the filmmakers? You and Mr. Abhijit Patil and your community could influence the filmmakers that whenever a location is being shown on the film, you could mention the destination in the bottom corner somewhere on the screen to highlight, because sometimes the film is talking about being shot in Italy, but we as a travel, we know it's not Italy, it's somewhere in Hungary, for example, or it's somewhere in Czech Republic. So somewhere could you identify the location with the name so that it becomes easier for the clients when they come to the office that say, oh, I saw this film, I want to go to Netherlands.
This is the art of filmmaking. For example, we were filming a movie in Paris. Only the Eiffel Tower and the scenes around it were filmed in Paris, but the car chase was filmed in Bulgaria. So at the same time, there was another movie where the director wanted 1,000 people in an opera house, which was supposed to be happening at the Parisian Opera House, but the budget wouldn't fit it. So the movie, in the story, it is Paris, but we filmed that in Macedonia. Only the interiors of the opera house. The exterior was in Paris.
That's where your expertise comes in.
Yes. See, that's the beauty of filmmaking. That's the beauty of filmmaking.
Absolutely.
So, where in which you, of course, everywhere there's a credit. The audience are very, very clever these days, because there's so many promos going, filmed in this country, making of the movie. So they know it, where it is.
Okay.
And it's not only we enhance the major locations like UK and France and other places, but all these smaller destinations also get popular. Like Bulgaria, tourism went through the roof. Macedonia started getting tourism.
True.
So it's everybody wins in this.
Super.
So that's the way it should be.
Thank you, Mr. Natarajan, and points well noted. I'm sure there are a lot of very interesting takeaways from this. Mr. Jairam, your closing remarks and what is your take, and what are your forecasts for 21 and going forward?
I'm very happy to hear from Dr. Amit that Kashmir tourism has done a lot of logistical support, and what I heard from him was very encouraging, because till last year I was having a lot of inquiries, and I was trying to reach out to a lot of people, so there was a lot of difficulties involved. But I think if they could get us equipments and get a lot of other logistical support and develop the local crew there, local talent there, it will work for both ways, both for the incoming producer, and also for the youngsters in Kashmir. It will be like a very truly, it is going to change the life scenario in Kashmir also. So that is very happy. And as far as post-pandemic is concerned, it's going to be definitely a changing scenario for filmmakers. And as Mr. Ramji was telling here, filmmaking has gone for a drastic change. Post-pandemic, the post-pandemic, the main aim is to reduce the budget. That is the target. So, but the creator in a director will not be happy to compromise. So he wants his visuals. He wants his what a visual splendor and whatever what he needs. But the producer will go for a cost cut. So the challenge is to convince the producer and and also at the same time attract the director, because we need the director, also the producer, because director we need to satisfy his visual splendor, and but producer he will be very much focused on the budget. So it's going to be a challenge. And also there are a lot of technologies coming on the VFX front. For example, there is an LED technology which is going to come, which I think will kind of going to revolutionize the filmmaking in the future. Maybe in the 4 to 5 years down the line, there will be less of location shooting and more they will be shooting behind a green screen or behind a LED screen. That technology is in the development stage. It's not yet come to India, but a lot of foreign web series, for example, if you can see the Disney Mandalorian, everything was shot inside a studio on an LED technology. So they can recreate all the locations in an LED. That is going to be a game changer. So before that comes, I would like to appeal to all our stakeholders to impress the government to to kind of introduce a lot of incentives or lot of attractive schemes to attract the filmmakers before they go and do something like this. So that is my biggest worry. So I want to even all the stakeholders in the location management, line producers, we have to be in a forum and impress upon the central government, to kind of introduce a lot of schemes or a lot of attractions to, kind of bring the filmmakers back to our locations.
Very interesting. Yeah. And I fully agree with you. And you touched upon a very important, valid point. The letter C has been the most dreaded letter in 2020. It started with the COVID, but also C, we are talking about, and this panel is about films, which is also cinema. And to my mind, going forward, 2021, whatever industry that we are connected with, collaboration is what it is going to win laurels for us. And you mentioned about collaborating with Dr. Amit and the work that they are doing. And hopefully, with the amount of inquiries you're getting, you now have a platform to connect and collaborate and get back to Kashmir. Coming to you, Dr. Amit, yes.
Also, to add one more C to the vocabulary, it's how creative we get.
Okay.
Post-pandemic, post-COVID.
Yes.
So that's going to be the game changer for everybody.
To balance the budget at the same time, create the ambient, the way the film.
And integrate the technology, balance the budget, and give the visuals.
Yes. Absolutely. So to Dr. Amit for his final closing remarks, and then we could end the panel. Yes, Dr. Amit, what are your focus and how do you see with the exciting work that you're doing in Kashmir right now? And, and what you explain, the possibilities opening up where, every month or every week you could be having a shoot happening in Kashmir. What are your closing remarks for 2021 as well?
So first of all, for 2021, I think having here as part of the panel, I would like to thank you, Jairam sir, thank you, Ramji sir, because we need their guidance constant, and I would love to have them in Srinagar in this year in 2021 along with you, Mahinder sir. And also thank you to Economic Times for putting in this particular most important aspect. And as we were talking about the letters, what came into my mind right now is that 2021, in my opinion, is going to be the year of film. And in film, we have to take care of 4 things. One is F, finance, because that will be one of the important things. Absolutely. And in terms of I, it is the implementation, how we are going to do these things. Then L, the latest technology that's going to come, as Jairam sir also mentioned and Ramji sir also mentioned. And M, the management. It has to be smartly managed. So in my opinion, I see 2021 as the year of films, because there is a lot of craving among general public, because they have not seen a lot in 2020, and people want to see, as we saw recently in Chennai, in spite of restrictions, people still thronged the theater and wanted to go and watch the movie, because whatever platforms you have, I can tell you that watching a movie in theater again has some different feel, and people in India want to see it in theaters as well. Definitely OTT platforms and other things have had an opening. So in my opinion, 2021 is going to be a year of films, and it's going to benefit everyone in that, whether it's line producers, the people from travel industry, the stars, the producers, and people who are basically contributing to it. So let's hope that 2021 brings in lots and lots of things that we all could not have in 2020. And thank you to all of you. And I would love to have all the three of you in Kashmir this year on my invitation, along with Mr. Abhijit Patil.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Any opportunity to come to Kashmir is always a welcome opportunity. We come to an end of a panel. Extremely thankful to all you great experts for your opinion. In spite of the short notice of change of time, you could accommodate and really appreciate this. It was very interesting and insightful. And thank you, Economic Times, for arranging this very interesting topic of discussion. Because as I'm telling you again and again, for us in the travel industry, films do play a very, very major role in promoting a destination. You know, it's more than 90% of a job already gets done when the film is shot at a location. You know, all we need to do is only get the visa and logistical arrangement and make sure that they reach there. You know, so thank you for creating these wonderful experiences. And in India, I think when a child is born, the umbilical cord is also the film industry. You know, we are born with this connection with this Bollywood and the films in general, and it's never going to go out. So all in all, even I'm very hopeful 2021 is going to be a great year. We are talking of revenge tourism in our industry, where people who have not been able to travel for almost a year now are going to just get out and get traveling, you know. So let's hear wishing everybody a lot of good, healthy, prosperous and progressive 2021, and 3 cheers to the Bollywood and the Indian film industry. Let's rock. Thank you.